Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great. Um, I am actually really happy that I am able to do this. I actually didn't think I'd be able to do this today. Didn't think I'd be able to get here in time and prep this and all of that stuff. It's going to be a little bit of facts and 2 cents light, I think. But I am happy to hang out with you. I'm happy to that that I wasn't even sure. I'm like, I don't even know if anybody is around because I know it's late and also late notice. So I am really happy that you actually guys are here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very, very much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you doing? Welcome again to Facts and Two Cents. As you know, we're a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula Guy, the chickens, and the Invictus community. So hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our community. See, I know Lydia is here. And let's go down and see who else is here. I know Church Nelly is here. I see all her emojis. And um, let's see, Valerie and Judy and Terry and Catalina and V and Susie, Teresa and Ngozi and Dari and Annie, Karen, Fancy, Elaine and Dora and Terry. I think I said Terry before. Annie, Cookies and Cream is here. Kenneth, Joan, Teresa, Judy. Who else? Let's see who else is here. Anyone else is here? But I am so glad. Oh, my Michelle is here. Hello, Kenneth. Hello. Let's see who else I can find. Paulette. Hi. How are you? I see you. And Ursula. And I think. Oh, Bonnie is here. Nelsie. Hello, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy that you are here hanging out with me. I appreciate it so much. Again, I have a friend visiting, and so I was kind of out today doing a little bit of tourist stuff. I actually, I hadn't been down there in quite a while, so I was down at the 9/11 Memorial. I actually posted a couple of the pictures in our community page. So I didn't go in because I don't know. I'm not. Maybe one day I could actually go into the memorial, and so. But my friend was able to go and be able to see it, and she felt it was amazing. So, yeah. But so, anyways, hope your day was great. I mean, it was beautiful, sunshiny day today. It was just cold. I'm like, what happened? I thought we were getting to spring and summer. So I don't know why. I don't know why it's still cold. I'm like, come on, where's the heat? So all of our California squatties, can y'all please send us some heat? Southern squatties that I don't know, is it um I don't know if South Carolina is hot at the moment, but Church Nelly, send us some if you have. We need some heat in New York. So anyways, how is everyone doing? Let me check in the chat and see how you guys are doing. Oh, yeah, so let's see. Let's check in the chat and see. Let's check and see how you all are. Um, Raven says, "Pedal you like me? I have not bought myself to go there yet." Oh yeah, it's you know she mentions she's like the one I saw and there were tourists and it didn't look like anyone from New York and I'm like yeah and I'm not sure that New Yorkers too keen to go because I mean we lived through it, so it's just yeah, it's a little raw and stuff. So I'm not really sure New Yorkers. Maybe I'm sure some of them, have gone, but it's yeah, it is still very raw. So yeah, let's see who else is chatting. Let's see what y'all saying before we get going on Facts and 2 Cents Light. um, let's see. what y'all saying. I'm telling you, I love Church Nelly. I absolutely love your, I love your emojis. I love them. It's so great. Let's see. Ah, let's see. Who else is chatting? Anyways, we will move on and see what we have today in Sussex land. Actually, the Sussexes have been a little, eh, Invictus has been much. So I honestly expect Harry and Meghan to be, especially Harry, to be sleeping for about a month. I would, I mean, he just gave his all, like 180% of himself, and I just think like, look, if he needs to sleep for the next month, hey, go right ahead. But Harry's not that kind of person. Harry, I'm sure, is up and doing whatever it is he is doing, and we haven't heard from them. But you guys remember the interview that he did with Hoda, and so this magazine actually who has written about him before, Harry as a father, they seem to have like really pick up on a lot of important things that he talks about, whenever he does an interview. So this is the second time that I've seen them write an article based on something he said in an interview. So let's take a look. Oh, before we take a look at the article, thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Wow, I appreciate your support. Thank you so, so, so very much. Much appreciated. Um, yes, guys, thank you so much. Anyways, so Fatherly, it's so funny, it's Fatherly. So Fatherly wrote an article, and it says Prince Harry talking to his son about disabilities is a must read for parents. And um, Prince Harry's way of talking about disabilities with his kids is a model for parents here. Here's how, and it says. And basically, again, it's something he said in his interview with Hoda. It says he says in a recent interview he shared how how he's introducing his kids to adaptive sports and talking to his kids about disabilities. The Invictus Games offer support and rehabilitation, and a community. Basically, obviously we know that, but this is kind of what the article says, and I thought it was really interesting because a lot of times you don't really think of you know stuff like this, and I'm glad Fatherly picked up on it. It says one of the things Harry talked about when he was talking about how he shared about disability with Archie. He says, I showed Archie a video of wheelchair basketball and rugby from Invictus Games in Sydney, and he absolutely loved it. Harry said, I showed him how some players were missing legs and explained that some had invisible injuries too. Not because he asked, but because I wanted to tell him. Kids understand so much, and to see it through his eyes, it was amazing because it's so unfiltered and honest. And so Fatherly picked up on that, and this is what they said about that statement. He says, while it might not seem like anything happened in that conversation, the fact that the moment was so nonchalant and everyday is exactly what makes it stand out. Disability is a normal part of human experience, and it doesn't need to be othered or made a big deal about when we have conversations with our kids about the differences in people. Harry didn't sensationalize what was going on. He didn't paint the athletes as inspiration simply for playing rugby or basketball. He left the ableism out and normalized the conversation of disability. And I just, I love that because it's so true. Because, you have situations where, I've heard and I've seen videos of where someone has a disability or someone has some kind of thing about whether their body, their face, whatever. And they're, they go to a restaurant or walking, and kids don't know. You see, like, mommy, why is she? And they're pointing, and it's like this big deal that someone might be in a wheelchair, or someone might, their face might be, different, maybe from a burn or whatever, or whatever is, is going on with that person. And kids, a child, they don't have filters, so you'll see them like pointing, and or sometimes in schools kids could be mean if a child comes to school and they look different or whatever. And so this is what Fatherly picked up on with this statement, with is how Harry just made it so normal that, yeah, this player doesn't have a leg, and someone might have an injury that you might not be able to see. And it's so 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 important, because I don't know, how many of you maybe have taught kids and stuff. I taught, I taught art to 1.5 to 2.5 year olds, and then I oversaw a play space from 0 to like 6 years old. So I was around kids all the time, and you see all ranges of kids that are around, just about everything and any kind of culture and all of that stuff. And you can see the kids that are not, because again, kids don't have filters. If they see something that's not, for them, not a normal sight, or something that they normally hear, they will call it out. And so I love that Fatherly picked up on this, and as a way of helping parents to talk to their kids and start young. Because again, Archie is only 2. He actually, again, he turns 3 in March, May 6th, I think. Yeah, May 6th is his birthday, and so he's gonna be 3. And so sometimes you can think like, oh my God, they're so young. It's like, I taught 1.5 year olds. They understand. They understand so much more than people give them credit for. Like, I would have some of them not even 1.5, and I will give them simple instructions, and they will follow it. And I mean, I would be shocked all the time that they understood what I said and did it. And so I'm always like telling parents, like, no, you got to start young. You got to start really, really young, because they do understand and soak up what you tell them. And so I was just like, kudos to Harry in the way that he is raising. And also, you remember he talked about, Archie asking, he's in the why stage, and just asking like a million questions, why, and it was so great that Harry said, he takes the time, instead of saying, well, because the world is round and that's what it is and that's how it is, that he takes the time to answer the questions and answer it, and the why until he's satisfied, and then he's like, move on to something else, and then you're like, oh God, please don't ask another why, you know. But it's really a testament as a father, I think, and it's like, wow, that he takes the time to answer those questions until Archie is satisfied. So I can just only imagine like all the why questions that Archie is asking. But I mean, I love this. I mean, great parenting, especially with, Harry is gonna always be around Invictus, Lord willing, and and he said that he's really excited to for when his kids are old enough that he can bring them there, and to the Invictus Games. And by the time they come, seeing someone with no arms, or one arm, no arm, a leg, or no legs, whatever, it's not going to be a big deal to them, because they've seen it, they've heard it. It's just like, oh, it's just a normal person. They just don't have a hand, but they're playing, whatever sport they're doing, or rugby or basketball, whatever, and it's just a normal way of life. And I think, the athletes, or someone who has these a missing limb or whatever, they appreciate that we just treat them as normal. That is nothing special. It's like, okay, you just don't have one. It's like, that's fine. So, but I just think I just think it's great. Yeah. um let's see. So I just saw someone said something and I missed it. Oh, Joan. Let's see. What is Joan saying? Hey, Joan. Joan says, Pedal, that reminds me when small kids were on TV explaining why they want to vote for Obama. Kids are aware. I'm telling you, I look, if you wait until your child is like 5 years old to start telling them something, you have missed the you have completely missed the boat. You are way too late to start explaining things. It's like that from 1 year old. They may not, you may not think they're understanding you, but trust me, they are. You gotta start young, really, really young, and then they'll grow into understanding more and more of what you're saying, but you've gotta start young. So yeah, it's like you don't think people understand. It's like they are aware. So, but let's see. Hi, Dara. Dara says in the late 70s and early 80s, Channel 13 used to have a program where children were able-bodied and handicapped, and my son loved it, and all liked the children the same way. It was wonderful. Exactly. If we make it normal for them, they are totally fine. It just we can't hide them from the thing. I mean, obviously, you introduce them to things slowly and you don't overwhelm them. But if we don't make a big deal out of things, they won't make a deal because it'll just be like, oh, okay, it's normal. So yeah, this is wonderful. It's like you introduce all of that, and it's like the kids learn and they just grow up to be more accepting and more open, whether it's cultural or race or disabilities or able-bodied, not you know what I mean. They just grow up to be more open and welcoming, and so what it does is it takes away the discrimination and all of that stuff because for them it's just a normal thing. So yeah, I love that. So let's see. Church Nelly says, thank goodness for Harry and Meghan's mothers. Okay, I'm not sure if this was part of a conversation, but yes, thank God. I'm assuming this may be, I don't know what the conversation was before this, but yes, whatever it was, yes, thank God. Thank God. And also, she says, I am so proud of Harry, the man, the husband, the father he has become. I'm telling you, Harry is amazing. And it's just, look, Megan's got herself a good man. Like she said, he is incredible. And just, what him talking about his son and the things that he's training his son and helping his son with, that man is incredible. So I'm just like, I'm really impressed. I am very much impressed because it's like, that's kind of what kids need, you know? Someone who can get down on their knees and talk to them and help them to understand things. I mean, I love that. Hi Joseph. Joseph says racism has to be taught. Kids are not born racist and discriminators. They are taught by adults. Exactly. I mean, absolutely. Just like you teach them, what is right, and you teach them how to accept, you teach them how to share, you teach them all of these things. Racism is also taught, and it's so funny. I always think back to when I actually worked at that same place where I taught the kids art. Is one day we have like this little store, and I was in the store working, and this little boy's he's a little, I guess it seemed like he was adopted from an Arab country because he's dark skinned and everything, was almost my shade. And he came in with his dad, and his dad was Jewish, and he came in for some toys for, I think it was like Hanukkah or something. He wanted to get like a Hanukkah presents and stuff like that. And he literally said to me, this little brown boy who looks my color, he literally said to me, "Mommy said that you don't give toys to black kids because they what did he say, because they don't really work hard for it, or some kind of craziness like that." And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at, and the dad is there, and the dad is looking at me, and he's a white man, and he's looking at me, and this little brown kid is telling me that he can't get, his mommy told him he can't get presents for black kids, and I'm looking at the dad, and he was so embarrassed, and he apologized, and I literally just said to him, you have to be careful what you're teaching this child. And it was the most uncomfortable feeling because this is what this little boy was taught. I mean, again, a little brown boy like me, he's looking almost my color, telling me that mommy, they're Jewish, and mommy told him this. And it's just like, yeah, you have to teach kids. And it was one of the most, I would never forget that day. The dad was so embarrassed. And I felt embarrassed for him. And I looked at the little boy and I was just like, oh my God, please, you know, because like obviously this child don't know what he looks like yet. I mean, he's a little kid and he's just literally repeating to me. And it was just, I was just like, I was so shocked. I think I felt trauma from that experience. And so, yeah, you kids are taught this, and so it just and that too, making sure it doesn't have to say just be racist stuff. Is that we have to be careful what comes out of our mouth around kids because they will literally repeat it. So it's yeah. Whew, that was a day. That was I would never forget that. Whew. And so I hope that little boy is getting the help and that they have you know turn the corners in what they're teaching a child. So, oh my goodness. Anyways, Julia says it feeds the curiosity of the small minds and allow them to be more open and accepting. So proud of Harry. Yes, exactly, exactly. And I think that is the point that the article is making. So it's just yeah, I just like kudos, you know, and Harry continues to be doing awesome things. She is Travalyst. This professor actually has joined Travalyst, Professor Xavier Font. It's so funny when I saw Xavier Font because there was no picture or anything like that, and I was like, in my mind, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I was thinking, oh, is that like an organization? Because when I'm thinking font, I'm thinking, font on, say, Microsoft Word or something. I had no idea because I was thinking, okay, maybe Xavier Font was like a company or whatever. I didn't know until someone posted that it was a person. I was like, oh, I never heard of him before. So apparently he's a professor of sustainability at one of the top 10 schools in the world and hospitality, tourism, and management at the University of Surrey, UK. Who knew? I had no idea. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So now he is part of Travalyst, and I guess this is the Travalyst team down here. And I was like, oh, awesome. They are doing great. I mean, the company is doing fantastic. If you weren't aware, booking.com, trip.com, Skyscanner, TripAdvisor, Google, Visa, they're all working with Travalyst, and Google and TripAdvisor and stuff like that. They've all adopted the Travalyst model. So on any one of those, if you're booking flights, if you didn't realize, if you're booking flights and then you want to make sure that you're, whatever flights or whatever hotel or whatever, or wherever you're going, you want to get like carbon emissions and all of those things, what's green and what's not, whatever you see on whether it's Google or Booking or wherever your TripAdvisor, wherever you're booking through, any of that information of carbon emissions, green, whatever, is coming from Travalyst because they have adopted the Travalyst model. And so this is, I mean, I just think it is fantastic, coming from, again, Invictus. Harry is doing amazing. And it's so funny. Before I came on, I don't know if it was someone just, I guess they retweeted it. So I don't know what the article was, I guess, or someone said that Harry and Meghan are not doing well right now. Like they're working, the things that they're working on is not doing well right now. And I'm like, this person has to be blind, deaf, dumb, living in Mars or some craziness like that. I'm like, we just finished the most amazing Invictus. I mean, if you go on, obviously they haven't gone on, um, Archwell website, obviously, so they don't. They. I guess they're just completely clueless about what Harry and Meghan, what they do, and it's amazing to me that they're like, oh, they're not do, they haven't been, doing well, I guess, and um, leaving the royal family is a lot more difficult than they planned, they thought it was going to be. And I'm like, well, yeah, Harry and Meghan said that in the Oprah interview, that it was difficult. And he even said it's only because they have each other that they've been able to survive. I mean, he talked about it, about how difficult, he can't imagine how difficult it was for Princess Diana. This is not news, but to say that, it's they they're still struggling and they're still not, I was like, you obviously have not been paying attention. So so it's just like really ridiculous. But and so I don't know when I'm done with here, because I was out most of the day, so I have not had a chance to really go on Twitter and really find out who said that nonsense. But yeah. So, but again, Harry and his team are doing great. I mean, the only thing I would say about this team, which I think, it's fantastic, is they need some diversity. They need a little bit of diversity in this team, because one of Harry's thing is, especially um Africa, because he's very, very concerned about countries in Africa being able to benefit, like the communities being able to benefit from tourism. Because a lot of times, people would go into wherever the country is, and the community around it are not benefiting from that money. They're not being built up and all of that stuff. And so they want to make sure that, these communities, one, if it's a popular site, that tourists don't destroy the sites, and two, that the communities benefit, like people, are able to, what is it, whatever it's, even if it's feeding their family or getting better jobs or getting better homes, whatever, that they benefit. So that was one of his big thing with Travelers. So my thing with it is, looking at his team, is there needs to be representation from these countries, so that way, from the people there what the needs are. And so that you're better informed. I see from here, there are a couple of people that are Asian, like Heather Wong. Heather Wong has been working with Harry for, you know, forever. I see that, and the gentleman behind her, he seemed also Asian. But I think, hey, need some more diversity, especially Africa and the other places that, that I'm sure he'll venture out in. So love you. Get some people, get some diversity in your group, and it will only help. It will only help to add that kind of experience to this group that is, I mean, again, they are doing amazing. To the fact that all these amazing companies are using their model, it tells you the caliber of people. And again, this professor joins, he's, professor at one of the top universities. Who knew there was a top 10 in tourism and stuff? Things you learn. It's my new thing I learned. So yeah, so I think they're doing great. Diversity would just add to it and make it even better. So yeah, so kudos, Prince Harry. Very, very proud of our Sussex Prince. So yeah, oh God. Yeah, so Charmless Offensive is continue. Actually, I think, oh, and I'm hoping I'm right, because I think I've deliberately shut out their tour dates, because I'm like, please let it be over. Please get these people out of the Caribbean, please. And so I think their date, I think today is the last day. At least maybe I'm just the one hoping today is the last day. And so anyway, St. Kitts and Nevis, they are also joining the other Caribbean islands who are considering getting rid of the monarchy, or getting rid of the monarch as head of state. Is like, in advance of the decades has taught us, the advancement of the decades has taught us that the time has come for St. Kitts and Nevis to review its monarchical system of government, and to begin the dialogue in advance to a status just as Trinidad, Guyana, Dominica, and now Barbados have done, Mr. Richards said. Mr. Richards is the Deputy Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis. And how dare he just say Trinidad? Like, hello, it's Trinidad and Tobago. How dare he just leave out my island? Like, we are people too. You know, the nerve. How rude. Like, it's Trinidad and Tobago. So there. But anyway, so St. Kitts and Nevis are, at least they're starting the dialogue. And again, it's, or maybe I am very impatient with stuff like this. I'm like, you've had eternity to do this. Why is the dialogue now start? I mean, look, I am just impatient, so bear with me. I am like, it's time to put some action in the dialogue. Be quick about it. Just get this going. So that way you can, get your feet on the ground and you know get your country to be a republic. So I'm excited that people are talking. I hope that it's not just talking and talking and talking and years go by and we're still talking. I hope that all of the prime ministers who have been saying this, that they would, you know, put some action behind it and get their people forward. I think it will only help. So kudos to St. Kitts Nevis. That's great. Um, I still feel like I wish that they had all said no to these shameless offensive tours. I mean, it's just been one offense after another, and it's just like enough. And also St. Lucia, they were also in, they are actually, I think the last stop on their trip has been St. Lucia. So St. Lucia, they have some demonstrations as you can see, and my our Rastafarian brothers and sisters have been amazing. They have been really at the forefront of these protests, whether it's Jamaica or the even though they were suppressed in the Bahamas, there were protesters in the Bahamas, but they were suppressed by the police. And here in St. Lucia, it's been yeah, our Rastafarian brothers and sisters out there beating drums and really, protesting and demanding reparations. And so it is funny because you look at it, it's like, okay, it's just like a few people, but a few people now have international recognition for being out there protesting. And again, it's so simple to think, well, it's just a few of us. It's just five or six or seven of us. And it's like, look at this is getting international coverage. So kudos to my brothers and sisters. I wish, again, on Antigua's case, I wish they had not stopped their protesters and basically prostrate themselves before somebody like Prince Edward, and Edward has been getting bashed for that nonsense response to the prime minister of Antigua, laughing like, oh, I didn't take notes and all of that stuff. So he has been really getting backlash for that because it was just, I mean, it was so insulting and so like, I mean, how the fact that he could sit there and laugh in moments and just I showed a picture of the prime minister and the lady. I guess is his either a deputy or assistant, whatever she is. Just a look on their face. I mean, it was so insulting, and again, embarrassing. You are there as a diplomat of your country, and you basically behave like a buffoon. And so it has been. And the worst part about that is the press association filed that video and you basically distributed that video for all the British press. And only the Independent and I think ITV were the ones that showed that video. So the majority of the UK have not seen, other than the what we've been retweeting on Twitter, the majority of the UK have not seen that video. Not even BBC didn't even show it. And so again, it's like that, invisible, well, not really visible, invisible, it's very visible contract that they have to protect the royal family. and not speak the truth. When stuff like this, they rather hide it than, there be any embarrassment. But the people need to know this. I mean, you're paying $87 million for this family to represent you. This is a moment they need to represent you, your country, and they go to a country and basically behave like they have, it's like the brain cells are not there. This is humiliating. If I was a Brit, I would be very angry if I saw that, know that my tax dollars is going to these people. And so, yeah, it just is a really, and even Peter Hunt was a royal reporter for the BBC, and he actually literally called them out for it too. And now he writes for the Spectator, and he was the one that's like, they haven't they haven't aired it in the UK. So again, unless you're reading the Independent or you might have seen it on TV or Twitter, you have no idea. You probably, if you look at the pictures, like, say the other people are posting, the other media outlets are posting, it's all these cute pictures, and of course they want the pictures with Sophie with the black kids, and that's why they're there. They want those pictures so they could be like, see, we're not racist, you know. And so it just the UK press, oh my goodness. It's so-called legitimate press. Let's see what you guys are saying in there. Joyce. Joyce says William and Kate got exactly what they wanted for Harry and Meghan to leave. Now they have it all to themselves. They can't do anything with it. They all have it to themselves. They all participated in kicking Harry and Meghan out. Now they have the spotlight, and now people are seeing what dunces they really are. They just, you know, they're used to the British press. When they do nonsense like this, the British press will cover them. Well, when they're on a world stage, the British press, their press corps that looks so big in the UK cannot control the narrative of the world press, and especially not the US press that is so opinionated. They can't cover them. They can't hide it. So no matter how many pretty pictures the UK post, or, about whatever the tour is, the overriding narrative is going to come from the international press. And there's nothing they could do to, I mean, the UK press really tried to make it like Kate and Williams tour was this beautiful thing that they were having, this wonderful time in the Caribbean, being wonderful ambassadors. And because the world press was so adamant, like, no, this is a mess, this is horrendous, they had to finally cave and, and kind of admit, like, okay, this was really bad. They can't overpower the world press. So it's like, yeah, it's. And I think too, because it's with Edward and Sophie, no, the world press don't really care. They don't even know who Edward and Sophie is. Nobody knows who they are. So yeah, they hadn't really paid attention. So I think, the British media have been posting pretty pictures about what's been going on with the tour. But Dr. Shola makes sure that they don't do that nonsense. I don't know if you know Dr. Shola. She's an activist and, a racial justice advocate. And she actually wrote this book, which is that book right behind her, that red and white book right behind her, that you might be able to see it a little better here. It's called That's Why I Resist. And she is a fierce advocate for racial justice. And so she's on a lot of British television a lot. They always invite her. She just, there are some people who they used to invite before who are like, I can't go on these shows and talk about race anymore. But Dr. Shola could stand on her, what I mean? When she speaks, everybody has to listen because usually she's right, you know. And so she was on the BBC, and she posted this today, and she's like, and she tweeted about it. She said, the Queen failed as head of state of Afro-Caribbean nations. Her removal and the failure of the royal tour is a testament to that. From Prince Charles, the Cambridges, to the Wessexes, the royal family embodies British Empire, which these nations reject. Afro-Caribbeans are warm and generous of spirit. Don't mistake their warmth or their waving flags for consent to a dead British Empire or as a rejection of slavery reparations. The royal family is out of touch and proving its irrelevance on hashtag Royal Tour, Platinum Jubilee, etc., etc., etc. And I mean, if you, I'm actually gonna post a link to this. Um, Hopefully I could find it where it's like the YouTube link because I only have it through her Twitter, and I know some of you may not have Twitter, so I'm going to post the link I have. But this is an incredible, and the reason why she's talking about the warmth and generosity of don't mistake the warmth and generosity of the Caribbean people. Like they are very welcoming, very warm. We are that kind of people, and they're waving flags and all of those things, much to my irritation, but she's like, don't mistake that for, accepting the royal family or, putting aside reparations. She's saying that in response to his argument, but he was like, but the people were really welcoming. They were really, looked like they really wanted them there. They had flags and all of these things. And she's like, no, it's just because they are welcoming people. They're not going to embarrass you. They're not going to, kick you out. But don't mistake that for, that they accept the royal family or they're not pushing for reparations. So, and this is the kind of narrative that not just him, quite a few people in the British press have that same thinking, like know because people in the Caribbean know, and so she's constantly pushing back on really great interviews. So yeah. Let's see, Ruth. Hi, Ruth Lopez. How are you? Ruth says, bottom line, Chuck, Camilla, Wilna, Kenna are shrinking into irrelevance. They are shrinking to local. Harry and Meghan are becoming global. Well, I would say they are already global. The royal family, I think, on a daily, no matter what royal reporters say, like, oh, they try to big them up, whatever, you see by the evidence of their work that it's irrelevant. It's not being impactful. When you look at, say, Invictus Games and you look at what they're doing, it's obvious. Like, okay, one is relevant, one is actually making an impact, and one is not. And it's very clear to see. Hi, Nancy. Nancy says the invisible contract is useless outside of the UK now. Oh yeah, but it's still there, and within the UK, they're still able to bamboozle or groom people to believe the nonsense of the royal family. Um, let's see. Sylvia says, Lydia, I did not get an alert for this podcast. I will check the alert. Oh no, I'm sorry, Sylvia. I have no idea. I am so sorry you didn't get the alert. Check your notification bell. Maybe click it on and click it off and see if it reboots itself. That tends to happen sometimes with YouTube, where all of a sudden you don't get the notification. So I hope in the future you do get it. Hi, Teresa says the invisible contract is strained from the looks of things. You know, it's it. I think it has ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's stronger, sometimes it's not. I think when Harry, pulls off his ninja stuff, the press gets upset, and then Kate and William and Charles, they have to appease the press in some way because they miss out on exclusives, so the press will come after them. So it just, yeah, it's one of those. Um, Phyllis says Diana would have been so disappointed with William for treating his brother like that, and for Charles treating his son like that, and she would have told them, "Yeah, hello, William is just, I, he's just a disappointment. I mean, whatever you think of, him as Diana's son, like, you know, I mean, I remember reading reading about her relationship with William. His anger at her, and he would go at her, and it's funny because Robert Jobson. I was reading the excerpt. One of our squaddies, she archives their articles because they've been going back and changing articles to make them not as racist and toxic as it was. And so she archives, and she's a squatter, she archives all their articles. And so she archived um, Robert Jobson's book. They serialized it in one of the tabloids. And so she archived it. And so I read that. I actually went and I was like, okay, I want to read it because I have another one of his book and I wanted to see if there were any similarities. And so one of part of the his book, he talked about how William and Harry they were rambunctious kids. They would run everybody ragged, um, you know. And so one of the things it says in the book that Harry was just out of control, and that one of the nannies pinned him up against the wall, and she said to him, "Harry, I love you, but I don't like you." And so when I read that, I was like, wait a minute. I saw that somewhere else, and that was not Harry. That was William. And so yeah, so that's what Robert Jobson has in his book. So I spent like 2 hours looking for this. I'm like, I know I'm not crazy. I know that somewhere else this is written, and I couldn't find it. And another squatty, Pagan, she posted it the next day where that was, and what happened was Ken Woff, who was their security person, the same one who is on the tabloids now claiming that Harry doesn't need security. He used to be Diana's security and Charles's. He has written in his book in 2016, or said 2016, that Diana, when William got so angry and he would, have a tantrum and going at her, she told him that she loved him, but she didn't like him. So what they did was stole that quote and applied that quote to the nanny, saying that to Harry. And it's just the most, oh my goodness. And again, that's another thing about reading biographies from royal reporters. They just steal quotes from each other and put it in there, and then just sort of twist it around and apply. If it's a negative, apply it to Harry and Meghan, and if it's a positive, they'll take it and apply it to William and Kate. And it's just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, Diana would have been, going back to what Phyllis says, Diana would have been disappointed, but I don't think she would be surprised because of William's temper tantrums, his really abusive behavior towards her, and I mean, abusive behavior actually even towards Charles, apparently to the point where Camilla has to come in and check him sometimes. His disrespect for his father, his disrespect for the Queen. I mean, it's like this is a known thing. So I don't necessarily think Diana would be surprised. Yes, they're so disappointed that he still hasn't changed his behavior. He still hasn't dealt with his anger issues. Although people try to say like, "Oh, William is level-headed and all of that." It's like, no, William has serious mental issues. He has serious anger issues that he has never dealt with. Harry is the one who has dealt with it. That's why Harry is able to talk freely about it. William hasn't. He's been keeping it in, and it just explodes on people. And so, and yet they're the ones that claim Meghan is the one who's a bully. Yet he is bullying everybody, including his own wife. So amazing. But let's see. Who else is chatting? Let's see. Let's see, Joyce. Joyce says, UK press can't really get to Harry and Meghan for those so-called exclusive. Harry and Meghan will decide who they will give an interview to, and they stated that they were not talking to the Times. Exactly. And anytime Meghan and Harry do an interview, especially if it's to the American press, they will literally explode. They will absolutely literally explode, as we saw them did with Harry did that interview with Hoda. And Gwendolyn says, Dr. Shola is absolutely fierce. Oh my goodness, is she ever? Absolutely fierce. Absolutely fierce. Um, let's see. Jenny, hi Jenny. Jenny says Dr. Shola is totally correct. She's telling no lies. Absolutely. I mean, and I love how brave she is, and she just calls them out and she name names. And so she is, yeah. And so for me, her, Nadine, and now Omen is doing it, and I think that support is really helping them to be able to speak the truth and call it out as they see it. So yeah, I just, yeah. So Annie, hi Annie. Annie says if I have to wait 10 years for a man to propose to me, he'll be waiting forever. Don't waste my time. I know Kate wait. She waited and waited and waited, and yeah, it's just oof. Oh, Patricia says I'm breaking up. Oh no. Guys, are you hearing me? Please let me know if I'm breaking up. Oh boy, I hope not. I hope that it's better. Oh, Lottie, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. Thank you. Um, please let me know if I'm still breaking up. No, I hope it's fixed. I hope it's fixed. So yeah, let me know if I am breaking up. Um, Sylvia says, Pedal Robert Lacey spoke to William Stemper in his first honest book, Brothers, but I guess he got into trouble and then wrote an addition to the book. Oh, he wrote the addition to the book and changed everything about William Stemper. Yeah, exactly. He did. He spoke about William Stemper, and again, in the excerpt that I read with Robert Jobson, Jobson went into detail about um, oh, thank you, Lydia. You said I'm fine. That you guys can hear me. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, Robert Jobson went into detail about William's anger. He also in Charles at 70. I got that book cheap a while ago, and I still have to finish reading it. He also talked about William's anger is well documented. Not even just there; it's in the newspaper. It is well documented. So it's really at a scary point. I mean, he talked about him, screaming at Kate, and so it just he needs to go and get mental help, and he has not done it. And so yeah, it just, anyways. And moving on. Queen Betty is back at Windsor. She went away. We talked to about the last time she went away to uh Sandringham to where Prince Philip used to stay for her birthday. So I guess she had a quiet break and she's back home. So let's see. I don't know. Hear a little royal reporter things talking about Harry's security is fixed and all of that stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever. Harry hasn't said anything, so I'm gonna wait until Harry says that. That to see if Harry's gonna do another ninja trip to there. I mean, honestly, I honestly don't see them doing any balcony nonsense. Again, I will never understand that balcony nonsense. I'm like, why is this important to you? Why is the royal family literally looking down on you important? Like, I don't understand the thinking. But anyways, I honestly don't see them doing it, but again, if they did it, and maybe that's what the queen wants, and they, willingly obliged. I don't know, but who knows? But Queenie is back home, so you know, and also apparently they are hiring a new security person for the queen. So apparently now that Harry spoke out, they are hiring a new security person. So who knows there, it would be very interesting to see, or I don't know if Harry will ever talk about exactly what he was referring to. I know Scobie wrote about Edward Young and Angela Levin, no, AK-47, Angela whatever her name is, the queen's private secretary, dressmaker, housekeeper person, AK-47, yeah, Angela Kelly. Um, who knows? Um, if and again, there's an article in the Sky News. I think I talked about it. I'm not sure. Did I mention it? I don't remember if I did. But there were, just in case I didn't, between 2019 and 2021, there have been 470 criminal offenses that has taken place at the palaces. Kensington, Buckingham, St. James, Clarence House. I don't think they mentioned Windsor. They may have. But all of these palaces, 470 of them, crimes have been committed and called in to the Metropolitan Police. And nobody knew about it until I think it was Sky News demanded to get this information, and then they had to, I guess they may have gone to court to demand this information and got that. And it's just like, wait a minute. And that came out right after Harry was like, we make sure my grandmother is protected. 470 at the palaces. Nobody knew about it. And so imagine the ones that that haven't been called in. So yeah, that is scary to me. Very, very scary. And if you haven't been, if you're not tired with tours, the royal family these they're going to Canada. Charles and Camilla, Queen Camilla, they are going to be touring Canada. And if you didn't know, Canadians, before it was kind of like even, 50, 48, whatever, whether they're going to keep the Queen as the head of state. Well, that has changed dramatically. I think there are like 50 something, 30 something to kick out the monarchy as the head of state. And when the Queen passes, they're like 50 something, 30 something. Yeah, I think 53, 38 or something like that to kick the monarchy to the curb. So, yeah, I would assume as soon as the Queen passes, they are like, see ya. It's about time. And it's like, Canada does not need this. But the thing that caught my attention, why I'm bringing this up, is it says the Prince of Wales has long believed that we need to learn from indigenous people around the world how better we should live and care for nature and the planet. Canada is seeing an impact in climate change, and so this tour we will highlight emphasis on learning from indigenous peoples in Canada, as well as focus on working with businesses to find more sustainable way of living with global warming. And it's the indigenous people part that got my attention, because if you remember with Invictus, we just talked about, Harry just introduced members of the indigenous community in Canada, First Nation, that they're not just going to learn from, that they're not just going to, figure out ways of how they could. Harry literally partnered with them. They got permission from them. They partner with them. So they are not just, going to sort of, oh, let's just see. Harry is like, no, you come in and be a part of this. We're going to be working together as partners. Your community and our community are going to be working together in 2025. And for me, that is a big difference with the royal family and the way how Harry and Meghan work. Harry and Meghan, make community. They bring people in and form a community and work together and learn from each other as a community, not just somebody just from the outside coming in like, okay, let's do this, and then I go home, let's learn and talk, environments and stuff, and then I go back to England and, well, I'll see you next tour. And so that for me is the big difference here. Harry and Meghan bring people in and they make community of them. And that's why one of the gentlemen, with he had the headdress and all of that stuff, was at The Hague, and he was part of that announcement when they announced the the 2025 games that's going to be in Vancouver. And it's so funny because he tweeted and he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. It's exciting that we're going to do this, but I'm terrified. And so people were like tweeting at him like, no, you're going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So he was being encouraged on Twitter. And it's just like, now he's part of the squad. It's like now we've embraced the indigenous community there, so now they're part of our squad. So I just think it's fantastic. But again, this is the difference with how the royal family works, and they're just like, let's just come to here and do an engagement and see, and then we leave you and go back to our palace. They don't make community, and that is the big difference. So again, we're all over these tours. I'm not even going to be paying attention. It's like I don't care, But that part of it that just stuck out for me is the community building that Harry and Meghan are so excellent that the royal family have just not learned. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what y'all say, yeah, and before I move on. Cookies and cream. Hi, cookies and cream. Cookies and cream says Baldelas is a human time bomb. It doesn't take much for him to go off. He really needs to get help for his rage. He has serious anger management issues, and yes, that is very true. He has anger management issues, and for some reason in the UK they see that as strength. For some reason they see this like, no, that's what a king is supposed to be. He's not supposed to be telling his feelings. He's not supposed to be crying and sharing his feelings and talking about emotions and talking about going to therapy and all of those things. He keeps it in and he just moves on and carry on, and that's what a man in a monarch is supposed to do. And meanwhile, this guy's a time bomb, that's been yelling and screaming at staff, his father is, zero respect. I mean, yeah, that's what he is. And so, they, can you guys imagine him as a king? I'm like, oh my lord, I can't. I don't even want to think, you know. Kenitha, hi Kenitha. Kenitha said Kate will grin and bear it because her mother wants her to be queen consort. You know, let's get to Kate because this we talked about this, and I think we did talk about Kate at this engagement like a few days ago. And the thing about, her and William visited this organization that was raising funds for the disaster. It's the DEC, or the Disaster Emergency Committee. They've been raising funds for Ukraine. And there are a whole bunch of pictures with Kate, but there are these pictures that with her. And one of them where she just looks so, it looks like sad, or just, I can't even explain it, but it was just like everything about it was like, can we just go? And then there's this one where it's just like, look at her hands, and it's just her neck, and it's just the way her head is like, this is boring. It's just everything about her body language is screaming, get me out of here, you know? And Willie, like, I don't know, neither of them look like, one, they probably have no idea what people are talking about or not really interested. And it's just like, there's nothing about this image that is giving, or like, I really appreciate what you're saying and I really want to be here and support you and all of those things that you would expect if you go on an engagement. You get nothing like that from these two. And then so this happened, and then so I talked about it, and I was like, okay, maybe she was just having a bad day, and maybe, whatever. Until this happened yesterday, Omid, and well, just about all of them, I guess, probably were tweeting about this. And there, Omid says a rare joint engagement between Princess Anne, patron of the Midwives RCM, and the Duchess, and Duchess Kate, patron of the RCO BSGI, GYM. It's like OBGYM thing. And the pair were currently they are currently at London headquarters of the colleges to hear how they're working to improve maternal healthcare to ensure women receive the best care. And so she's doing this engagement with Princess Anne, who apparently does all these engagements like this. According to the court circular, she's the hardest working royal. But again, nobody knows. She goes to all these engagements, and nobody ever hears about whatever impact she supposedly have with any of those. But she clocks in more engagements than anyone else. but nobody cares, so there's never any press on her at all because nobody pays attention. She was actually in Australia and I think New Zealand, but definitely Australia on a tour, and nobody heard anything about it because there was no press and nobody cared. And so she is doing this engagement with Kate because I think they're trying to pair up people to see which combination worked best, you know. And so they're out on this engagement yesterday, and this is what we got. This is Kate, and Princess Royal Kate, Anne, or Afro Annie as Baron calls her, is there, and Kate is literally falling asleep on the engagement. This is Kate, and it was just like, oh my goodness. And I don't know, and part of me feels like, okay, this is a mom of three, and so maybe there was a long night, maybe whatever. What I, you know, and I again, my sisters have, they all have kids. They are moms, and they work, and so and a couple of them are still in school and all of that stuff. So they can have these moments. But another part of me is like, Kate has full time nanny, full time cook, full time housekeeper. She has all of this help, and for whatever reason, this was Kate at an engagement yesterday. And nobody has said a word about it. And at least I haven't seen any press, And again, I was mostly out today, and I hadn't really had a chance to really look. So I don't know if there were any press that. Ooh, I think we got some like. I'm so sorry, Lydia or Church Nelly. I think we got some kind of weird people in the chat, like these webcam chat things. So I'm not sure if we can get rid of those. Get rid of them from the chat. That would be awesome. Thank you guys. But anyway, coming back to Kate, like this is. I mean, at least I have never. Maybe there have been pictures like these before. I have just never seen anything like this. It's literally standing there, falling asleep. She's falling asleep, standing up, and it's just like, oh my word. And it just, whether it's she's tired for whatever, whether it's she's just bored to pieces, or whatever, but there she was on the engagement with Princess Royal Anne right next to her and falling asleep. And so I'm just like, holy mackerel. And, again, I have no interest in Kate or whatever she does, whatever, but I have not seen this woman look or at least seem interested or excited about any of the things she does. And so I don't really know. It's like, girl, there comes a point where you're gonna have to decide, like, is this really worth it? Being queen. I mean, this is what your life is gonna be, and you're gonna be falling asleep on engagements. And I this I'm learning. I'm here to learn about. I mean, when are you gonna actually do something? And I think that's part of it too. It's like they're forever learning but not doing nothing. And it's like, if you're not doing anything, it's hard to be excited about things when it's like people just talking at you the whole time when you're not actually doing anything. It's the doing of the things that will make your life exciting and make things, at least something you're excited to be a part of. But again, this is the Kate we got. This is the Kate that the British tabloids have been trying to embiggen. Like, she's, the royal family will fall apart if Kate doesn't, if Kate leaves or whatever. Well, she's there, and this is what you get. She's on an engagement falling asleep. So it's just like, it's just like, I literally have never seen that before. Maybe it's happened before. I'm like, I have never seen that before. So it's like, wow. Oh, Naughty Doctor, thank you so much. Thank you. Future queen indeed. Yes. I'm like, England. And again, the press hasn't really been reporting it. So again, maybe most people don't really know that that's there. So again, if you're not on Twitter, if you're not on social media, you probably don't even know this is there. So I just I was just like, it's a little shocking. So let's see. Phyllis says, "Oh, Thomas Markle is banking on the Queen or Charles taking over Harry's children and giving him the rights." You're gonna wait a long time, Thomas Markle. Apparently, one of the Garbage Twins has invited him to the Jubilee. And it's like, okay. And, leave it up to Sussex Squad to make fun of that. Oh, I should have brought it over. I don't know, maybe Baron or the Duchess of Success. Maybe they brought it over, and so show you guys what Sussex, Sussex Squad have been like going on a creative spree of including Thomas Markle in all the Jubilee things and put him on the balcony and all of those. He's like, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, Dan Wooten. Um, but yes, Sussex Squad, being very creative once again, and I thought about bringing it over and I completely forgot. So yeah, it just. Jenny says disengage. She cares about no one. I mean, hello, she's talk about disengage. She's falling. She's sleeping. Terry, hey Terry. Terry says Kate is falling asleep because she doesn't understand what they are talking about. Hello. The idea that Kate is just this expert in early childhood is such nonsense, and it's just like I don't understand why people in the medical field, or at least in that field, don't start calling this out and stop pretending because she's royalty that she knows what she's talking about. It's like she doesn't. Just remember, if you guys remember when Dr. Biden was here for the what is it, G7, G whatever conference in the UK, and Dr. Biden was having they had done this engagement at this school, and the British press, they normally will never ask questions of the royals because I guess that's the rule. But the American press was there. And of course, the American press sort of took over and started asking them questions. And Kate was like, you know, she was not her best, shall we say. And so it was very clear that she was advocating for something that she didn't understand. And Dr. Biden is there. She's like, I have notes, I have questions. This is over already, the little 45 minutes. And she, you could tell the difference. It was very clear the difference between them because Kate had no idea. She didn't know how to answer those things. And, all her hands were all, and it's just like, oh God. So, but Jessica said she is more than likely busy chasing down behind her unfaithful husband night and day. Who knows what's going on between those two, and who knows. But one of the things that is happening, apparently, their kids are enrolling in schools in Windsor. So apparently, that thing that's been going around since I feel like it's been a year that people have been talking about they are moving. So it seems that that's coming to pass, that they most likely are going to be moving to Windsor. So whether it's just her or her and William, wherever their relationship is, who knows? Teresa says something is going on with Kate that they are hiding. Yeah, all that pretending is wearing thin, and she can't even fake excitement for it anymore. No, she can't. That is so true. I mean, like I said, one of the pictures there, you could see the sadness, the loneliness. It's almost like this forlorn look, and it's just like there is something going on with this woman. And again, as we talked about in the last episode, when Scobie, that article that Scobie wrote, it's like it is very known that the monarchy They do not prioritize people's health. They don't prioritize people's mental well being. It doesn't matter what your status is, even the queen. Remember when she had COVID, they were still trotting her out, and claiming, like, oh, see, if the queen can get back to work, you can too, until it finally is like, I can't do it. And the queen had to stay home and they have to keep canceling her engagement. There is something wrong with this woman, and they don't prioritize people's well being. Hello, Meghan almost committed suicide while she was pregnant there, and so again, it's like, while I don't, I'm not into Kate Middleton, but she's a human being, and you don't want to, if there is something wrong with her, you want her to go get help, you know. Whether I agree with her character and what she's done to Megan, and I'm very much like, what you did to Megan was cruel and hateful. But at the same time, I still, you still don't want her looking like this. This is a mess. This is an absolute mess. And if there's something other than I, may have had a late night and I just didn't get some sleep, which I hope this is, if there's more to this, then she needs help. And again, the royal family, remember when Meghan asked for help, they said what? It would not look good on the monarchy. It wouldn't look good for them. So imagine, Meghan's husband is sixth in line. She's gonna be queen. If she says, I need to go to a place where I get help, and because Meghan was asking to check herself in to a place, if she said, there's more going on with her, and she said the same thing, that's a no. They're not gonna let her do it, because imagine the future queen checking herself in somewhere, what that would look like in their minds, you know. And so again, I hope it's just a sleep, a long night, and she, maybe she was up and had a stomach ache and couldn't go to sleep or whatever. Stuff happens. I hope that's the case. I hope there's more. You know, again, I don't really, I'm not really into Kate, but you still don't want somebody, you don't want somebody, if there's something wrong, for this to be what they are. So it's like, I hope she is able to, if she needs the help, put her foot down and go get some help. So, anyways, moving on. Adrian says, if Catherine stopped chasing Megan's wardrobe, she would be. Thank you for the laugh, Adrian. Oh, thank you, Church Nelly and Lydia, for getting rid of the trolls. I really appreciate it. I don't even know how they know about this podcast. Like, how do you just come? Like, anyway. Um, Sylvia says, honest, pedal honestly, the way I feel Kate treated Megan, Kate is reaping what she sows. I'm telling you, karma has a thing. Karma will come and get you. She treated Megan horribly, and now it's like, but even with that, it's just like, I love Karma doing her thing. It's just, but if it's more than just, I'm having a bad day and I fell asleep, then we could be like, dude, But if it's more, if it's something, more serious than that, then yeah, I still want her to go get some help. But yeah, but yeah, what she did to Megan was, oh my goodness, oh, girl, Kensington Karen, you know. Um, Black Queen, hi Black Queen. Black Queen says, when you chase imaginary rainbows for 10 years, then is forced to do the actual work, you'll be exhausted, I reckon. Yes, yes, yes. Although I don't know what work she's doing though. I don't really see any evidence of any work, but hey, maybe that's the case. Maybe she was just burning the midnight oil, or the burning the palace candlesticks. That's why. So yeah. Um, Terry says, where's the body language expert to talk about Kate's expression? I would love to know where the body language expert. It's funny how they always come out for Megan, but somehow they go into hiding for Kate. V. Thomas says, Kate hates anything called work. She cannot handle being out doing so called work, i.e., walkabouts. And that's the thing. It's like they tried to, I mean, she was supposed to be the CEO, Kate CEO. Remember that joke that was going around? And yeah, she's not cut out. Like she loves being pregnant. That she talks about that all the time, and she loves, that sort of thing. But she actual work, no, it's not. Yeah, no. That's why I think she got intimidated by Megan because Megan was in the office all the time, actually doing work. So they, undermined her. See, Jessica says, can you imagine chasing a man for 8 years and realize you only got Yeah, I mean, that must be so disappointed. That must be seriously disappointed to know, like, that's who I waited for all these years. Oh, this William is such a disappointment. Judge Nelly says, is she tipsy or drugged up? Who knows? I am hoping it's just sleep deprived, but who knows? I mean, yeah, oof. um, Thrive with Megan and Harry. Hi, Thrive. How are you? Thrive says Kate was up all night spying on Wills in the rose. Thrive, you're so bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, that'll keep you up, I guess. Um, that would definitely keep you up if you're hanging out in the rose garden all night. That would definitely. Ruth, hi Ruth. Ruth says Kate should cut her losses, get a lot of money and a title, and let Rose have Willie. She would marry rich with no problem. I'm telling you, there comes a point where I mean, again, her mom really wants her to be queen, so who knows? And she's really close to her mother and really follows what her mother says all the time. And so who knows if her mother will let her leave. And that's the thing when you don't have independence, when you're not an independent person and your whole life is depending on mommy and daddy to tell you what to do and to run your life. I think that's why they're so angry at Harry. They expected Harry to stay there and life be run by grandma. And they can't understand why Harry would not want to be there. And so it's a totally different culture in the UK. It seems where being independent is like frowned upon or something. And so yeah, I'm telling you, I don't understand why that title is so important. Where you would put yourself through what looks like misery, because then you got to spend the rest of your life being that. It's like, oh, I can't imagine wanting to do that for the rest of your life and being this bored. At least look this bored and miserable. And so it just it. I'm telling you. Uh, let's see. My show says Baron will have multitude. Can't speak of shady jokes about Kate's sleepy pick. I mean, it's for me. I don't know. Everyone is different. For me, I feel for me the joke would be like a low hanging fruit because I mean, for me, I felt again, even though I am completely like girl for what she did to Megan. But then I look at her and it's just what I felt instead of anger and, again, as to how she treated Megan, I kind of felt pity because this is for me just like pitying. It's just so sad. Like I can't even joke about it, you know? And so, but everybody is different and, it's just, and it hits them differently. And so for me, I just felt like this is a pitiful thing to, I mean, ew. I just, yeah. Um, let's see. Lottie says, I know Church now. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Lottie. You're talking to Church now. I didn't see that part there. Um, yeah, they would have had Megan on every paper. She would be the topic of the day. Yeah, I mean, if this was Megan, I mean, this would be lambasted all over. Then the talk shows the next day would, I mean, it would be all over about all the reasons why Megan would have looked sleepy and all of those things on an engagement, they would have gone to town about Meghan. And I have not. And again, I have not been on Twitter a whole lot today, so I don't know. But what I saw, there was no, other than this picture, Squatties had shared it, and that's how I came across it because someone had shared it, and that's the only people there. I haven't seen anyone other than in the squad talk about this or have this picture there. So yeah, I just mm, yeah. Let's see. Hi, Annie says Kate likes what the okay, like, what the hell have I done with my life for the past 10 years? I would really love to know that. I would really love to know. I mean, part of what she did with her life was came up with 5 questions. That much I know. But the rest, well, I mean, she also had 3 kids, I guess, for the last 10 years. And the rest, yeah, no. So, yeah. Um, V says, enough about Kate Petals. The mean girl is fine. We need to be about off it. Thank you, V. Thank you for calling me out on that. I appreciate it. Time to move on from her. Hope she is well. Let's back to our faves. Oh, before we get back to our faves, Nadine White again. Nadine White uh, from the Independent, this actually came up. Let's pull out the V Thomas. Thank you, V Thomas, for getting me off that topic. I really appreciate it, for kicking me in the butt. I appreciate that. And she basically was talking about, apparently Princess Eugenie has this this initiative she started with her friend, and the Slavery Collective. And I don't know if you guys had heard about it. And she started this anti-slavery thing, which a lot of people were mocking because obviously her father is his issue with Virginia. And so she started with this thing, and so Nadine was talking about it, and one of the things that came up with this initiative was that, and Nadine mentioned it. She says the anti-slavery collective team is exclusively white, based on the information on its website. While there is no reason to believe that they're incapable of rallying behind abolitionist causes or dispassionate about doing so, they should make diversity more a priority. And some people had kind of gotten on Nadine's case, assuming that diversity equals black. I was like, y'all need to go find a dictionary to understand what diversity means. But yeah, and so, which, again, the anti-slavery collective means, modern slavery is all over the world. And so Nadine is like, you need to have diversity. And people are like, you're saying that she just needs to have black people, and it's just like, find a dictionary, please. And then you look at her team, this is her team. They're all white. And so that this is one of the things that Nadine was talking about. The initiative is fine. I mean, it's a good thing, but you need to have diversity in your team. And the reason why you need diversity is, and when you look at slavery and modern slavery around the world, the nation with the top 10 largest population of modern day slavery are what? India, China, Pakistan, North Korea, Nigeria, Iran, Indonesia, Congo, Russia, and the Philippines. And if you're going to have a collective, a slavery collective, then you need to represent. You need to have people that represent these countries to be able to, you know, give you or really share with you or help you to understand what that is like in their country, what life is like, and what and be able to bring that to your collective. It's actually literally the same thing that I'm talking. Oh, what I said about Harry having diversity on his team, because if you're going to be dealing with a topic that is prevalent where the top 10 is these countries, this is a very diverse list. You can't have just all white people from England. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. you know. And so you need to bring in that. So for her and for Harry, the same thing is like you need to have diversity. And so, and then a lot of people in the UK need to learn what that word diversity means, you know. So, but I mean, the the idea, the dealing with it, I have to say kudos for her because when she started it, there was a lot of like jokes and stuff about her doing this because again, her father. But it seems like something that she's passionate about, and it's a good thing. But she needs to, you know, she needs to, if she's serious about it and she's serious about, making a change, then it can't just be about podcasts and talking about it with your white friends. Then you need to actually go do something and bring people in there that will actually help. So we'll, keep an eye on it and see what it is she is up to with that. But Trish Nelly says Eugenie is cosplaying it now. You know, that could be the case as well. That could definitely be the case. But she's been on this path for quite a while. It's probably a couple of years ago when I first heard about her doing the anti-slavery thing. Before she was actually, I think, working with another organization, and now she has started her own collective. So she seemed to be passionate, and she got a lot of flack again, and people were mocking her when she was started being involved in it, and she has pursued it, and she's been doing it. You do at least started her own group and doing something. So now she needs to you know she needs to actually put some action behind, if she's really serious, and build a team that will actually make a difference, and not just like, oh, I'm a royal and I need some kind of thing to make me look like I'm doing some work, which is what the royals do. Joy says these people do not know how to work with a diverse team. um HSRT spends 10 years in the, oh, Harry. Harry spent 10 years in the military of all races and color, and he's learned a lot about diversity. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at his friends and all of that, it's like it's very diverse. I mean, some of his younger friends, because around the culture that they had were, basically all white in that way. But with the military and all of that stuff, Harry has definitely grown in that. And I mean, you just see him with all different races, and he's so comfortable in those spaces. So that he can do it. So same thing for Eugenie. I'm gonna keep pay attention to it, because it again, it is an important cause. I mean, there are slavery right under our noses. So yeah, it's very interesting that she's doing that. Oh, Joyce. Eugenie did one podcast last year about the subject, and was anything moved. It was anything moved the needle. Um. Okay, she did a podcast last year, and I'm not sure. Yeah. And Trish Nelly says, I don't think anything happened from it. I guess they're still continuing with the podcast. And the team is all white. Yes, the team is all white. And so again, that's why Nadine brought it up. It's like it's good that you're doing it, but you need people from these countries. Yeah. Marsha says, Eugenie, we can see through the BS. She better tread lightly. Eugenie, I think she needs something to do. She needs to be able to, again, royals needing to do stuff that maybe will hopefully make a difference. Um, Teresa, hi Teresa. Teresa says to hear the word diversity and assume we mean put some black in it. They literally never think of other ways they lack diversity. No, I guess not. Because this guy, literally, the one of them that was attacking Nadine, literally posted this list on there. And it's like, and it's just like, well, you just posted a list of diversity. This is what diversity, like you literally just posted the list. Do you not understand that diverse, when she said diversity, she doesn't mean black? You literally post a diverse list. You know, it's like, I'm like, oh no. So, anyways, people are crazy. This is Sylvia. Sylvia says Oh, I'm sorry. I jump into conversations. So let's see. Let's not jump into your conversation. Um, oh, well, or maybe Tasmac. I agree that the mean women gave the BM permission to go after Duchess Meghan under copyright case. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Let's see. Adrian says, did y'all see Eugenie hide behind the program when Andrew came with Lizzie in the memorial? She did? I didn't, I guess I wasn't noted. I didn't pay attention. Is there a video? Oh goodness, now I want to see this. I have to go back and look at the video. I had no idea. Oh wow, no idea. Um, Mara says no sympathy for that woman. I'm assuming you mean Kate. So Mara has no sympathy for her at all. Um, thank you, Mara. And honestly, and I don't blame people for not having sympathy for what she did to Megan. I don't blame anyone for not having sympathy for her. It was horrible what she did. So, and still has not, yeah. But Kenneth says Megan just mentioned adding Africa athletes to the games. Oh my gosh, yes! Oh my goodness, when did she say that? I'm assuming something just came out, and again, I haven't been on Twitter a lot today, so I'm sure I'm missing a lot of news. This is fantastic because remember a few episodes ago we were talking about this. We were looking at African countries, South America, Caribbean soldiers being a part of the Invictus. Oh my goodness, that would be fantastic. Oh yes, I am excited about that. So yeah, thank you, Kenneth. Masha, Masha side eye, side eye Eugenie. People are not feeling Eugenie at all. Let's see. Um, let's see. Let's see who else is saying. Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah says Thomas Markle says he doesn't believe Prince Harry was in the military. What a dumb thing to say. Well, Thomas is dumb, so I guess whatever. I mean, yeah. The thing about it is the British press, they just keep using him. They know he is not quite this. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and they just keep trotting him out, and eventually he'll run out of any kind of juice that will give them any kind of story. So you just have to wait that one out. There's just you just you just can't pay attention to that kind of stupidity. So yeah. Um, Kate says nope. Kate is reaping what she's been sowing. Period. Okay, no sympathy for Kate at all. Okay. The Impossible. Hello, The Impossible. She says, yes, I agree, Pedal. No balcony for the Sussexes. That the UK tabloid wishes. That's the UK tabloid wishes. He don't work for those drifters. Yes. I don't see them on the balcony either. Again, if they choose to do it, I will respect their choice. But I literally don't see why they would want to, especially with the security issues as it is. I saw this guy, this private eye guy who testified against the son, and I think he's going to do it in Harry's case. He talked about security guard, one of the royal security. He said that there is some kind of terrorist threat against the Sussexes, and they don't want them to be near to the Queen or some nonsense like that. He didn't post any kind of proof of this, so I'm still waiting to find out, like, if if that came up in the Harry and Meghan's court case or not. I don't know, but that's what he said. So, anyways, moving on from Eugenie and her, you know, thing. Great news, everybody! Fantastic news. Talk about British tabloids. If you use the Microsoft Internet browser, you may have seen this. I don't know, I've never typed in Daily Mail. UK, but if you type in, I guess www.dailymail, this is what you will see. Don't trust the Daily Mail website. Microsoft browser warns. The Mail Online rated 1 out of 5 for credibility by new feature to fight fake news. And this is what you'll see. If you type that in, it says proceed with caution. This website generally fails to maintain basic standard of accuracy and accountability. So yeah, so if if you're using Microsoft Edge, that is a warning you will see if you ever put in or type in the Daily Mail. And so this is really, I think it is so important because, and again, this is like an independent group. I think it's a new group that they are testing or looking at all these outlets. It says 2,000 outlets in the US and 150 sites in the UK. And so that's what they found with the Daily Mail, which is no surprise to us because we know that that's what the Daily Mail does. I mean, they are completely, they don't even try to be honest. They don't even try to be correct. They are blatantly lying in every step of the way. And of course, the Mail Online would be like, they're like, a spokesman for the Mail said, we, we have only very recently become aware of the News Guards startup and are in discussion with them to have this egregiously erroneous classification resolved as soon as possible. Like, the absolute nerve, gall, and audacity of the Mail on Sunday for the Daily Mail to say that this is egregiously erroneous classification. Like, that is exactly who you are. So hopefully this will, right now it's just on Microsoft Edge, but I'm hoping this spreads to every search engine, like so that way people would be warned or forewarned to not go on the Daily Mail. And of course, they are fighting it because they know that will decrease traffic. Because when you put that there, people will be think twice about going to their website, and that is what scares them. And even better news: Rupert Murdoch, the Sun, now worth less than a copy of the UK tabloid. That is correct, my friends. News Corp, which owns the Sun, Fox, and all of those, the New York Post, and all of those tabloids, News Corp has written down the value of the once mighty paper to zero. Y'all, please start getting on your knees. That means the Sun will be going out of business, which is what I want to happen like pronto. Because I don't have to tell you what the Sun has been doing, including hiring a private detective to get all of Meghan's private information, including her social security card. And this is what has happened. Rupert Murdoch's News Corp has written the value of the Sun down to zero, according to accounts published on Friday. According to the Financial Times, the Sun turnover plummeted 324 million pounds in the financial year in June 2020. In American dollars, is $457 million. Friday's news also revealed the company increased the financial amount set aside for the legal provisions associated with accusations of phone hacking. The amount is now 52 million pounds. In 2019, it was 27 million. So there. Let's hope that this means that the Sun is going down. We just want this paper to go away. Literally just want this paper to go away. So, yeah. Anyways, keep going down. Don't buy the Sun. Don't buy the Daily Mail at all. So, anyways, I am very excited about that. And finally, I don't know if you all saw this, and I wish I could play the video, but I think it's owned by someone. If I played it, I don't know if other people have tried to play it, and because I don't want to have copyright problems with YouTube, so I'll refrain. But this picture is King Willem. You'll remember King Willem, who was at the Invictus Games, and the press were like, "Oh, he's going to snob Prince Harry," and all the nonsense about for King Willem. And so yesterday was King's Day in the Netherlands, and King Willem was out there dancing. I mean, he was one of the kids, and it was just the most joyous. Like, I'm gonna post a link in the show notes, and I hope you guys get to see him because King Willem has become my third favorite royal behind Harry, Meghan, and, it's just like he is the king. He's the kind of royal that anybody could relate to because you notice he is not up on a ridiculous balcony. He is on the street with a bunch of teenagers, it looks like. Him, his daughter, I guess his two daughters and wife, or Queen, what's her name? Queen Marguerite or something, whatever her name is. Um, and Queen Maxima, and they were on the street with all these kids in the middle of the street jamming. I mean, it sounded like a rave, and I was just like, "You go, King Willem!" It was so exciting. I don't know. You have to tell me if you saw the video. I just thought it was so fantastic. Oh, TCC. Oh, son, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, so it just I just like this is the kind of royal that you'd want. And Queen Scobie was like, I will accept nothing less than at the Platinum Jubilee than basically like King Willem jumping up and dancing. I mean, he was literally jumping with the kids, and it was just like, can you imagine the British royals doing this? I mean, literally getting rid of the horses, getting rid of all that nonsense, and just be jamming on the street with regular folks. Harry would do it. Meghan would do it. I don't think any of the others would. And it's like, where are your security, King Willem? I guess they were on the sides or whatever, but it just, and it's so funny because we saw King Willem at with Harry at the Invictus Games, and from he was like dancing and stuff, and you knew. I was like, this guy is just like Harry. And it's kind of like the BFF, or the bromance that we didn't know we needed. But I just thought I'm like, this is the kind of royal people can relate to because it is awesome, and I just appreciate it. And again, I am not into royal families. I'm not into any of that mess. But I just was like, you go, King Willem. So let me know if you guys did you guys see this? Let's see. Oh, thank you, Carlene. Oh, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are so awesome. It's like, oh my God, thanks. I appreciate the support so much. We appreciate it so much. And hopefully Pam will be on in a day or so, a couple of days. Hopefully she'll be able to get on. I know her work could be crazy and her schedule could be crazy, but hopefully she can get on too. But we appreciate your support. Yeah. But yeah, it just I'm like King Willem. Oh, it's like I think the two that's really amazing is just like how different they are from the British royals, how down to earth, and it's just like, oh, why couldn't they be like him? So Adrian says, no church. Karma has to go through every nook cranny. Meghan's pearl coming. Her podcast coming. The crown coming. Harry's book. Karma is karma gonna be nice, easy, and slow. Yes, yes, yes. Karma and the ancestors. Don't forget the ancestors, Adrian. Yeah, the ancestors. um, let's see who is chatting. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, if these guys see any trolls in here, please point them out. We saw some earlier, so hopefully no trolls are leaving any dirty messages. I didn't see any other than the couple, but yeah. But thank you so much. If you see, please, if you see trolls, don't. don't respond to them, we'll just get rid of them. So thank you so much, Church Nelly, and also Lydia for your help with them. It's just yeah. Um, and Legs says, "Oh, Willem, wait! I thought Harry and Meghan were snobs when they went to the Hague." I know that was a narrative. There was this whole long narrative about them being snobbed, and it's just like that they don't have an official meeting with them, and that they're not going to be able to stay at the palace. Like I don't think Harry and Meghan even probably never even thought about staying with them. And how that came about is there's a reporter in the Netherlands who I swear the guy is like he came across like the Netherlands version of Richard whatever that guy is who that I don't know squeaky one Richard Eden is like the Netherlands version of Richard Eden. He basically went and asked I guess the secretary of the king if he's going to have a meeting with Prince Harry, like an official meeting. And the person said no. And then the way how the guy reported it, it's like if the king had made a statement that no, he's not going to be meeting with Harry, when he's the one that asked the question and the person simply said no, they're not going to have like an official meeting or whatever. And from that little thing, it got blown out to where King Willem is snubbing Harry and Meghan. He's not, they're not going to be able to stay but in his palace. And it's just like, and at the same time, Invictus Game has put out their schedule that King Willem would be there the last day. He'd be handing out medals. He would be there, and it's just like the British press. What is wrong with you people? So anyways, let's see a couple more before we end. Um, let's see a couple more people what they are saying in this. Yeah, let's see. Joseph says, I'm sure Daria has many divorce-related receipts on Thomas, but she chooses not to wallow in the mud and expose Meghan to more tabloid attacks. I'm telling you, Mama Doria is like a peach from heaven. Because you're right. I'm sure she has so many things she could attack. Actually, him and Samantha, because Samantha lived with her for a while, in the same house with them for a while. And she could go after them, and she hasn't. Meghan could go after them and she hasn't. And just in case it wasn't reported, I don't know if Baron or Anne had mentioned the update with Samantha. Apparently, um, Ellie Hall, who is that horrible reporter, but she's the one that wrote the article about Samantha, with her being basically besties with one of those hate channels, whatever. And then Chris Boozy reported all the different identity she has on Twitter and all the mess that she's been involved in attacking Meghan. Well, Ellie Hall wrote a couple of days ago that Samantha Markle's attorney quit on her. She basically asked the judge that they don't either it's a he or a she. I don't know, but the attorney has left her case, so she right now has no attorney. He said there's a conflict of interest, and they had, I guess, disagreement with how the case was going to be. But the thing is, she doesn't have a case. So, and the thing with this attorney, because as an attorney, you look at what she's saying, you look at the things that she's saying, any attorney that is any respect, I mean, I'm not a lawyer and I look at this stuff and it's like, this, you don't have a case. So the fact that he didn't, or he or she took on that case, I think what they did was take it on in hopes that Meghan would, she would engage. And she hasn't, because according to the dog, Chris Boozy posted it, and Ellie Hall, I think, posted it as well. The court document states that Meghan and her attorney never engaged. And the fact that I think the reason he is quitting, because the only reason he would or she would take that case was to get, attention. they were probably hoping that Meghan would, engage and probably try to pay her off so the case would go away. And Meghan hasn't engaged. And so now there's nothing he can do but leave because they don't have a case. And so whether she's going to get someone else to represent her or not, I don't know. But as of now, she doesn't have an attorney. So it's just, again, the amount of things that Meghan, I mean, the amount of things this woman has said about Meghan, Meghan could, you know, she could literally, I mean, not that she has anything for Meghan to take. Meghan, I'm sure, doesn't need anything that Samantha Markle has, but she could basically shut her up for life. And Meghan has simply chosen to not engage. And I think, she's like, it's the same with Daria. Daria she could, I mean, wipe the floor with Thomas Markle, I'm sure. And she chooses to not engage. And I think that is a testament to her and her integrity and the fact that it's like, you know what, this is just not worth my time. I'm going to focus on my daughter and focus on, my grandchildren and let Thomas Markle do, the mess and, whatever it is he's doing. But yeah. So let's take a couple more before we end because I'm realizing we're getting to 2 hours. Wow. And it's amazing because I didn't even think I'd be here on time to do this. So I'm so happy you guys are here and we're able to hang out for a bit. Let's see. Let's see if I can find. John says, Tina and Michelle warned us long time ago not to believe or engage with the rag writers. Yeah, it's like, hello. Yep. Don't engage. Yep. And the funny thing is with not, because it's so funny, we've been on this not engaging thing on Twitter, and there's a few things that have come up with people writing books. We're like, nope, we're not engaging because what they a lot of them are doing is they would write these really awful things in there against Meghan, things that they know especially will trigger, say, Black women, and they expect us to come after them and engage and fight them and all of that stuff and use our pain to make money. And the moment we engage, then it becomes a big thing and gives them more publicity, and then more people know about it so that they will sell their books. So basically using us to make money. And we have been on this thing to not engage with them no matter what they say. We're not engaging. And so it's been great to just be like, and give them no energy, no air. And the same thing with the other garbage twin who has a new show. And the thing about it is nobody has been engaging with that. And he's has this thing with attacking obviously Meghan, brought on the former White House occupant on his show, and and then attacking Meghan and Harry and all of those things. And nobody has been in, at least not that I know of. Maybe a few people, I don't know. But what I know is that the people that I follow, nobody has engaged with it because none of it has come across my feed. And the thing with it is, with all the hype and with all the attacking Harry and Meghan that they've been promoting and bringing the former Orange White House occupant, the show has been tanking. I mean, this guy has, I think, between 8 to 9 million followers. The first night, only 300,000 people watched the show. The second night, he lost 100,000 people. And so this new show that he's been hyping has been tanking. And for me, it's a testament of not allowing, not engaging, not, reacting to their nonsense. Because like this guy, he's a one trick pony that, that whole thing with that woke and all of that stuff, that's all he has. And now what he is simply boring. Nobody cares to listen to him. And now people are realizing like he really doesn't have anything. That's all he has. He's a boring one trick pony. And no matter what it is, you can be crazy, whatever. You don't want to be boring. And that is what he is. And so, whether his fans are going to wake up then, the next week or whatever and watch a show, probably highly unlikely. But as it goes with the opening, it's been tanking. So again, not engaging, no energy, because he needs anger. He needs, people coming after him to feed off of him. He can't create the publicity and all of that stuff from himself. So he uses people's outrage to to get attention. And so the same thing with the former White House occupants. They're literally the same. And so I am so happy that, um, we have been not engaging. So it's been a beautiful thing. And one more before we go. Um, Lorna, hi Lorna. I didn't say hi to you tonight. Lorna says, LOL. If that is what snob look like, I want to be snob. I do too, Lorna. That's exactly how I felt. That's exactly how a lot of us feel like. If this is what being snobbed by a royal looks like, or by a king looks like, I sure want to be snobbed. I mean, King Willem is like, he just looks like a fun guy. He looks like I mean, there are videos of him literally dancing. Like he was even having more fun than Harry. And they were both having fun. And so it was just like, I think everyone was just like, you go, King Willem. So yeah, he's my third favorite royal. Um, but yeah, I mean, and the video of him dancing in the street with the kids around him, the teens around him. I just love this so much, And again, as someone said on Twitter, it's like the bromance we didn't know we needed, and it's like, yep, that's exactly how I feel. So kudos, King Willem. And the funny thing about it is, I don't know if you guys before, like, what, 3 weeks ago, I think it was the first time I heard of King Willem, I didn't even know that there was a royal family, and I have to confess, this is embarrassing, but I didn't even know that there was a royal family in the Netherlands. I had no idea. That's how much I don't pay attention to royals, and of course, because of Harry and Meghan, I pay attention to the British royals. I had no idea. And now I'm like, oh, look at this. I had no idea like the man existed before like 3 weeks ago. And now I'm like, I love King Willem. He is a cool guy. So yeah, so that's my big thing I learned. So yeah. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, if that little scrolly thing in the bottom there, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, help us to grow the channel, click the like and share buttons, and like our podcast, share it with our friends, help us to grow. There are also ways that you can help us to grow by joining our channel. Join our 2 cents crew. That's the way you can support us monthly. That would be really awesome. Thank you so much to all of you who have joined our channel and are supporting us that way. That is so grateful for that. Um, we do have PayPal, we do have Cash App. That's another way, and also we do have merchandise. So if you'd like to shop, please. And the background back there, I keep saying, my dad has graciously allowed me to use his artwork as backgrounds, which I am very grateful for because I love all those colors back there. Even on days when I'm like, blah, I look at the colors and I'm like, oh, life is great. so, the link to merchandise, and if you're looking for art prints and would like to purchase it, the link is in the show notes. So please feel free to check it out. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and on such short notice. And I guess I will see everybody next time. And let's see who else in this chat that I didn't see when I was doing this earlier. Lucy Wynn, hi Lucy Wynn, and Jacuza. Hi Leo. She's saying, I don't know how you say it. Please, if you're still hanging out, please let me know how you say it. But I love it. Maybe it's French or something. Tash, thank you guys, legs, and let's see who else. I didn't say hello to that just snuck in and I didn't see. Carlene, hi Carlene. Hello. Lottie, I got you already. Gwendolyn, hello Gwendolyn. Patricia, and who else? Thank you, Church Nelly. Thank you so much, Lydia. Especially catching those crazy trolls that come and invade our space are very private and wonderful community. Thank you so much for being amazing as you always are. Hello, Classy Lacroix. I see you. And Kate and Sharon. And let's see who else is here that I missed. Oh, Dara. Hello, Dara. And who else that I missed? E. Smith. Hello, E. Smith. But thank you so much, guys, for hanging out, and I will see you next time. All right, bye. We're gonna end this all out with some music. Yep, let's put some music on and go on out with some music. Yeah.